Alright, well, it's Sunday. I ran the excavator pretty much all day yesterday, most of the day today. A little overcast. Really happy with the purchase. Dude got to fix the display. I tore into it, found that the transistors blowed, burn up on the board. It looks like it didn't damage the board, we'll see. If anybody out there has a schematic for one of these displays, it's I think it's the same unit that's on the Hitachi 27C. I'd be interested in taking a look at it. But if one's not available, I'll just reverse engineer the circuit and see what I can do to get it fixed. But really, it's not that big a deal. I knew it was broke when I got it, and I don't know. I'm pretty happy with the machine. Let me kind of show you some of the work that I've got done so far. Still got plenty of power. The motors run great. Really the only issue operationally I've had is the pilot switch. Alright, let's try that again. Had a little battery failure there. Anyway, the machine's done great. Got a huge pile down below, and as you can see, this is I don't know how much this weighs, but I know that I think the E32 that I rented, there's no way that would have picked it up. It'll actually pick up the whole thing. I almost had it balanced and got it over here and it kicked down, but got quite a bit done. All of this is cleared off. Cleared off the lower corner of the property down there. Got quite a bit of work, but I don't know if how well that'll come through on camera, but there's a huge brush pile down there to burn. And I'll be able to basically get this all burnt, and then I can come back with a tractor, clean this up, finish grade it. There used to be an old barn down on the lower edge of the property before I built the shop, and let's just say there was some debris where it was at. I had some utility stuff that I used to do, and also there was several of the same, a couple of older reels left in the barn, but I've got all of it piled up. Got everything cleaned up to the edge. Basically the goal is to try to get cleared up at least to where I can get to the property markers and kind of keep all of that cleaned up. I got some trees here that I'm gonna have to have professionally removed. I'm not too concerned about the smaller ones, but that big walnut there needs to go. It's got a lot of deadfall and really makes a mess down here whenever the walnuts fall. So I've actually pushed a lot of dirt as well, just in the 2 or 3 days that I've had it. This does push dirt a lot better than the old Kubota that I had and the E32, and I think this machine actually weighs just slightly less than that machine. But the tracks are in decent shape. The undercarriage is really good. I actually picked it up and took a real close look at the undercarriage yesterday. I am going to have to get, I do like this bucket. I think this is a CP, and it's got the factory John Deere wedge style connector. I'm definitely going to need a wider bucket, and definitely a cleanup bucket at some point. And kind of looking at thumb options. If anybody watching this has got any good ideas on a thumb, I really would like to do the pin-on bucket. Looking at John Deere, it looks like they may have one from the factory that I could order. It appeared to be around $1,400. I know there's Showtime Fabrication. I think it's Gentech, but I don't think they make a pin-on bucket. But if somebody happens to have either this excavator or one similar, and can provide some suggestions, it'd be muchly appreciated. I need a pin-on bucket that will actually fit this bucket. The T spacing on this is fairly narrow. And if for those of y'all that don't know, a pin-on bucket goes on the outer edge of this bucket, so there's a limitation of how thin you can get the thumb. So the thumb's going to be pretty wide unless it narrows up, and it may be hard to get a thumb that'll actually fit, you know, between the tines or come out close to the tines there where I can actually still use this bucket. It definitely pulled out some big tree roots. There's some down below down there with this bucket, and it really does a good job. It's a smaller bucket. It's got the side cutters. One interesting thing, if you notice here how this side cutter comes up above the bucket a good little bit more than any other bucket that I've used. That really helps in grabbing things if you don't have a thumb. So I've been able to do a lot with it, a lot more than I thought I would, even without the thumb. Just kind of give you a couple more shots of the machine. Like I say, real happy with the purchase. I know I've got a little bit of work to do to it, but it's one of those cases where the machine's running good, and I'm going to get as much work done with it as I can, and work on it occasionally and try to get it back to everything functioning. Which right now the display is broke. I need to work on that pilot control switch, all of which I'll try to do videos of. And I've got a little bit of work to do up here. The pin, all the pins seem to be working good. I've got to replace a grease fitting there. The only pin work that I'm going to have to do is up here around the coupler. And I hope to get to that within the next couple of weeks. I think the closest John Deere dealer to me is about 60 miles away, so and they're not open on the weekends. So that's kind of for a homeowner, you know, personal machine, that's kind of a downer, because it's not like I can just go over there and you know, look up parts and this, that, and the other during the day. But we'll get it. Got the fuel cap ordered. I'll put a link to the one that I ordered. I don't know that I'll do a specific video on it, but that's my fuel cap right now. And I called John Deere on Friday. I think it was around $80 for a fuel cap. So in closing this video, again, this is a 27C, older machine. Am I happy with the purchase? Yes. I've already got probably over $1,000 worth of cost if I had rented an excavator this weekend use out of this machine. Obviously, that is way less expensive than what I've purchased for it. I think it's going to have to, you know, basically if it does 14 weekends without much trouble, which I believe it will, I'll have already made my money back within a year and still have a machine to boot. And I can't stress enough, you know, I do get renting if you have the occasional thing. With me, I have enough projects around here to keep this thing busy. And another thing is, it's at my convenience. So rental, usually they bring on a Friday, you know, whenever they can get the machine down there, which they've been really good about doing that, and usually bring it early. But I know that's not going to be the case for everyone. The issue is they have an hour limit, so you're still only getting out 8 hours a day. And you really, I've noticed with this machine, you get a lot more rushed. I haven't been rushed all weekend. I probably got more productive work done with this than I have ever done with a rental, just because I'm trying to be so careful about hours. Another thing that ends up happening is I never get to the finish work. I always do the really big stuff and then come back along with the Massey. Now there's nothing wrong with that Massey. It's a great tractor, but it's not super efficient, especially on some of this bigger work. It gets into small places, but stuff like this, something that would take 15 minutes with an excavator, may take hours with a Massey, and puts a lot of wear and tear on that piece of equipment. Anyway, I'm happy with the purchase. I would encourage you to do your homework if you're looking to get one of these. Make sure you get the machine that you want. One thing I'll warn you on, and almost everybody that I talked to either didn't want to tell or were unaware. Most of them were saying they were unaware, but a lot of machines, if you're planning on adding a thumb, you really do need to make sure that you have bidirectional hydraulics. On the John Deere, there's basically a switch. This one, it's hidden because this piece right here is bent. But there's actually, in through this hole, there's a symbol, and it looks like a little cross T. And you have to turn that in a particular position to get the pedal to go in both directions. So it's already plumbed for it. It's already got all the hoses. You just need to make sure you do that. Now, if you do install the thumb and you don't have that in the right position, be careful. And one thing you'll notice is that the thumb will either not retract or not go out. And that basically means that it's not in biflow mode. And you'll want to set it as such. But again, it's like a little nut. I don't know how well that's going to come through on camera, but I can feel the bolt, and on the top of the bolt there's a mark. Right now my position is there's a horizontal and the T is pointed down. I don't know that that's the correct position. I'll have to look it up in the manual, but I know that it's either twisted this way or twisted this way. Anyway, hope you liked the video, and we'll see you on the next one.